Hello everybody, I'm going to show you how I did my Christmas journal for this year, how I got it all prepared. I went very simple this year. I decided I'm just going to do an altered book, so I'm not going to be constructing anything, I'm not going to be sewing signatures in. So I picked this lovely book and I got it second hand. It looks kind of like a new book, to be honest, but somebody was selling it second hand and I chose it because of this gorgeous paper on the spine and some really nice detailing throughout the book. On some of the foodie pages. As you can see, it is a cookbook. It's a really nice size. I'd say it is probably, well, it's larger than A5, but not A4. It's more like a B5 size. Is that size? Sort of between A4 and A5. So really lovely, comfortable size to work in. I'm just showing you the ISBN there so that if you want to try and track this book down, either to use as a cookbook or to turn into a Christmas journal, it's there. I might actually write that in the notes because I don't think I really paused very well on that image, but never mind. So as you can see, it's got some really lovely end papers in it, which I decided to keep in. And then throughout the book, there's these gorgeous photos with, I think it's probably, some of it's vintage wrapping paper, some of it's just vintage prints and things like that. So that's what drew me to the book. I did look through the recipes and I'm just not that enthusiastic enough to attempt any of them. I'm so lazy sometimes when it comes to cooking. So I'm afraid if you're into cookbooks and you can't bear to see me tear the pages, it's probably not the video for you, to be honest. So the plan was to take out the inside pages from each signature. So you can see I'm just showing the edge of the book now. Each signature is sewn in, but then the very outer pages of each signature are glued as well, so they're a little bit trickier to pull out. So the plan is remove all the pages from the inside of the signature like this one and do that all the way through the book, and then it will thin it all out, and then that means that when I start sticking things in, there'll be a bit more space for me to stick all of my nonsense in. So that's the plan, to go through all the signatures and pull out all the insides. So while I'm doing that, I'll just go through why I went for a low effort book this year. And it's mostly because of time. I don't have so much time as I used to have to do all these things. Definitely do not have as much time as I did back in 2020, 2019, 21, when I did some really elaborate journals. And also, I just wanted it to be really low stress because I get to this season and I see all these wonderful ideas and have all these great, like, oh, I'm going to do this, that, and the other. And it very quickly tips into like sort of pressuring myself to do something really fancy. So I'm basically trying to avoid any stress whatsoever about doing a journal and just make sure I'm only doing it in a very sort of relaxed, pleasurable, low stress, low pressure way. So I figured this is probably the simplest way to do it, is to just do an altered book. And I also, it's quite interesting because I've been watching a few videos about glue books. And it's funny because before I even sort of learned about the, I suppose, largely American scrapbooking community, my mother and I and people in my family called a scrapbook. Nope, called a glue book a scrapbook. So what you might call a glue book, which is a book you just stick things down in, like without really thinking much about it, just stick them in because you like those pictures, glue them in. That's a scrapbook to us. That's what we would always do as a scrapbook. It would just be cut out pictures of magazines and stick them in a scrapbook. But anyway, I found all these videos about scrapbooks, or glue books as they're called now. And I just thought, yeah, that's kind of the style I want to go for this year. I don't want to do too much designing of my own things. A little bit, yes, but not lots. And I just want to just stick things in and not really worry too much about it. So several weeks later, here I am, and I'm back, and I have covered all of the pages in different papers, and I've done the front cover and the back cover. Sticking random little bits of found ephemera. This is a little bit of, I think, cross stitch. I don't know where that came from. I think it was at my grand's house. I don't know if she did it or not. I haven't done the spine. I haven't decided what I'm going to do on the spine yet. I'll obviously have to do something to cover up the fact that I've just ripped pages out of a book. But yeah, I've obviously kept that gorgeous paper along the spine. And obviously left the beautiful end papers because they're so lovely. And it's got to the point where now I've covered all the pages in papers and it's kind of bulkier. It's filled out again, but there's still a little bit of space for me to stick everything I want to stick in as the days go by. So this is pre-photos, pre-any journaling, sort of like ready to go. And this was actually finished on the 7th of December, so not too bad only a week in. But I kind of enjoy making the books a little bit more than I do the actual memory keeping aspect. But I do like having a place where I can just stick things in, even if it is a sort of a last minute rush or just shoving Christmas cards in things. So this bookmark I'm probably going to use as I work through the journal, and it's God knows, I think I made this about 5-6 years ago. It's just simply plaited embroidery threads. I think I made it to be a bookmark for traveller's notebooks at one point, and then I ended up not using it. And it's been in my sort of Christmas box for quite a while because of the red colour. And I just poured a load of PVA glue down the spine, poked them down, and then just hoped that they would stay. And, you know, if you gave them a tug, they would definitely come out, but they're staying where they are for now. And what I've done is I've tried to do as many little pockets and tuck spots as I can. So this is my little card I'm going to use in this video to show all of the pockets and places there are to tuck things in as I go. Because there seems to be quite a lot of ephemera at Christmas time, cards and gift tags and things. And it's always good to have lots of places to tuck things. That was just me showing you that the pages are quite thick now because I've obviously stuck things on both sides of them. But it actually feels really nice when you're turning the pages, like big, thick, chunky pages as you turn them. So this is day 1. Second of December. Another pocket, and I finally got the chance to use this gorgeous little tag my friend made me and gave to me with the little gnome on. So that's now committed to a journal finally after about 3 years, and I've stapled it in case I lose it. So yeah, no pocket on the left hand side. That is just an actual book page as it was in the book. So there's no pockets on this page, but I do have a little flap on the right hand side there. I can't remember what you call them. Flaps, tip in, I have no idea. So yeah, lots of little tuck spots and things. I mean, quite a lot of them are very tight and not strong, but I just think there's always random pieces of ephemera that you find at Christmas. Sweet wrappers and, I don't know, labels off toys and bits and bobs to go in pockets. And I think that's also a way of trying to make it stressless for me, by just having pockets. So if nothing much happens on a day, because there are plenty of days in December where we just have our normal life, we don't do anything exciting, and I may not necessarily feel like documenting it, but if I've just got a page and it's got beautiful Christmas images on and I just have a pocket on it, I can just shove in one small thing that I picked up throughout the day, and then feel like I've sort of saved a memory from that day. So not every page has got a pocket, but I feel like I put more in than I would normally. It's another tip, basically, for people who want to have a sort of a low effort journal at Christmas. Just have lots of places to shove things in, and then if you don't get round to gluing them, at least they're sort of kept there in an album in all the little pockets. I think what I've also done is I've used quite a lot of busy images across the page. So, normally in the junk journal you might just have the background pages without much on them. And I feel like if I've done that, then I've then every day got to make quite a big effort to decorate the pages and put things on and make them look fancy. Whereas in this journal, if I just don't have anything to put down at all on one day, it's fine. And it's just a scrapbook, it's just a glue book, it's just some Christmas images that I happen to sort of feel a bit drawn to for this year. So as we get past Christmas, we go past about 26th, 27th onwards. I tried to sort of tone down the overly Christmassy images, I suppose, and just sort of went for slightly more wintry themed ones, because obviously Christmas is over by this point. And I think for the last day of the year, I've just done sort of outdoorsy, frosty scenes, just as a sort of a calmer, more thoughtful background for going into the new year. And I do have a random spare page at the end, just for anything else that I might want to put on it. So I'll just go through where I got the papers from. So a lot of the pages in this book are just the original book pages. So anything with food on or plates is obviously originally in the book. I'm just trying to find some more examples here. This one with the twine around the jam jars, that behind there is the original book image. So I managed to use a few of them, not a huge amount. Apart from the chocolate cake, I tended to cover up a lot of the foodie bits. Then I went and bought a patchwork magazine. I just fancied buying a patchwork magazine for Christmas, just as a different sort of way of getting some interesting magazine images. So there's a few blanket patchwork designs in this book. Not a huge amount, but just a few just popped in because I never get around to making a blanket that big, but I do like patchwork. And I feel like Christmas and winter is a really nice cozy time to have patchwork. Then I've got random images just from magazines, interior magazines. Some of them are like wallpapers, lots of sort of outdoorsy, Christmassy, wintry scenes. That is a magazine image, and this one here. I did find myself a little disappointed with the Christmas magazine that I did get this year, like an interior country living, period living, I can't remember which one. So I didn't have all that many pictures cut out. Then a load of these images are from one random children's book that I ordered online. I didn't know what it was really going to be like, but I recognised the sort of design and the style of the illustration as being probably from my childhood. I didn't have this book when I was a child, but it just reminds me very much. It reminds me a lot of the Usborne books. I don't know if anybody knows those, if you're British, but it wasn't an Usborne book, but the style of illustration is very sort of from my childhood, so I put a lot of that in. This one again is actually a page from the book, taken out from the book. Some of the sort of vintage wallpaper ones, which I then stuck back in on different pages and made them into pockets and things like that. That one is, I just love that page. It's so lovely with the baubles on it. So those are all originally from the book, just like, you can see like the book had a really nice style to it. I don't know who designed it, but it did a good job and it was very useful that there's all these like lovely wrapping paper designs in it. And then the other thing I added in were some of my own, they're quite old now, old collage sheets I did several years ago. So there's just like bits and bobs of it throughout. I used this one to cover some more recipe pages, and this one here is one of mine. And that one, so I used quite a lot in the end. So it's a good job I had them printed out ready. I did think about designing some new ones this year, but I just thought, no, it's too much pressure, too much like another thing on my list that I need to get done. So I just thought I'll just dig through my old ones, and I found some nice ones, and I think they look really nice actually. So quite pleased. So the last thing I'm showing you here is the date stickers. So I did these very, very rushed, really basic. I just wanted some quite large numbers that would be really obvious on the page. I have in the past done quite small fiddly numbers, date stickers, and they almost seem to disappear and you have to sort of search really hard to see what day it is. But with that white sort of like rectangular background, I feel like they really stand out quite nicely on the page. So that's what I did. And I'm actually thinking about offering those as a freebie on Patreon. So as in a freebie for anybody, you don't have to pay to be a member or anything like that. Because it honestly took me about half an hour one evening. An hour actually, maybe it's an hour. But I did them on my iPad, printed them out and stuck them down. But I'm quite happy to give those away as a freebie. So if I haven't done it by the time you see this video, do remind me. I can just shove that on there in the normal page for everybody to grab if you'd like to use them, because they're not massively fancy. So I'm quite happy to give those away as a little present. Because the digital sheet that I did do for Patreon this month, which I'm just showing you now, had some date stickers on, and I didn't want to use them in here because they're very small and delicate, and I suppose I stuck to the size that I was going to use in this journal, so they're quite tiny, and for some reason they ended up more pink, and I could not for the life of me turn that pink into a sort of a red colour. I kept trying digitally to alter them, and it just kept being very pink toned, and I just felt that those numbers are lost on the page. I mean, you can see here they're not going to be visible enough compared to those big simple ones, so I thought I'll just have those little delicate ones in my traveller's notebook, and I'll do the big chunky ones for the journal. So this sheet that I did for Patreon, that is part of the paid membership tier. That is part of the Sketchbook Print Club. That's the rest of the page left. I just thought I'd show you here what it looks like. And I think my plan is to use all of these in my traveller's notebook. So I'm probably not going to use them in my junk journal, my sort of Christmas Gluebook journal. I think I'm going to sort of keep those in my traveller's notebook. The sort of the scale of them suits it a lot better, I think. So that's what I'm going to do. So yes, I will try and remember to make up the digital sheet of those big numbers and put those up as a freebie on Patreon very shortly. So on the cover I just stuck, it's actually a 2024 sticker from last year, because again the one that I did this year, I feel like it's too delicate and it's going to get lost. So I'm quite happy with that one from last year on the front there. So I did also recently, I don't know if I actually put it on Instagram, I finished off my journal from last year. I finished it off last week. So this is the 2023 journal. And I'm not going to show you the insides of it now because I have stuck in all the photos and personal bits of information and things. So I can't really give you a flip through of it right now. But I did sew all the signatures in. So it was a lot more effort to do this one, which I think is probably why I went lower effort on this year's. But I don't know, I just love what the page I love what the pages look like on the side. I'm always like admiring the edge of the book, so I like seeing all the different coloured papers. I've used the advent calendar from last year. I usually do that as sort of like a tradition of mine. I pull all the doors off and I staple them on all the pages, a little bit like index tabs. So I'll probably do that again this year with this year's journal, sorry. So yeah, I feel like I've been really busy getting these both done and ready, but I feel like I've caught up now because for the past couple of years I haven't done my Christmas journal in that month. I've ended up leaving it until after and playing catch up the following year. So I feel like if I can continue the one on the right, continue my 2024 one and get that finished this year, then from next year I'm all caught up and I can just start on a new one next year and see how that goes. So thank you very much for watching. If you've got any questions, let me know, pop them down below and I'll try and answer them as best as I can. If you've got any requests of things you want to see, if you want to see a flip through of them once the photos are done, that's fine. Although to be honest, it won't all look all that much different because if I cover up all the photos and the journaling, I'm not going to be showing you anything new, am I? I'm just going to be showing you the pages. But yes, let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you enjoy, if you're doing a journal this Christmas, I hope you enjoy making it or just journaling in it, and I will speak to you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.